Итак, продолжаем прохождение The Vampire. Нас приютил доктор. Нас спасал в ночную смену, чтобы мы работали. Доктор знает, кто мы. И сейчас мы будем охотиться на плохих людей, выполнять побочные квесты и параллельно искать виновника. Виновника в том, что с нами сделали, превратили в кровососа. Так. Отправили звук сначала. Звук алло есть? Да, есть. Так. А, у нас такое задание-то вон есть. Так. Ну что? Как его удалить? Вот на X удалить. А, на X. Все, нам сюда надо. Доп. Задание. Мой чепл, кстати, где все основные убийства происходили, и орудовал джек-потрошитель. Так, что у нас там? Надо этих вылечить, а потом сожрать. Так, и это надо вылечить. Качество крови плохое. Пока тут, наверное, ничего не смогу сделать. Где взять воду? Подожди, стоп. Ладно, мы еще не совсем там поговорили. А, привет.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Так, сейчас. Стоп. Нужна карта. ничего не можем сделать. Где старый морг? Я пойду сначала сюда. Так, ты кто у нас?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reid. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reid. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reid. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital?
Его обосрали, этого чувака, но он
I've been an
торговец.
ambulance driver since too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Расследование, которое вам доверяет горожане, сортировано по району. Чтобы приступить к заданию, выберите его. Жмите X, после этого на карте отобразится область, которую нужно исследовать. Торговка. То есть не торговец, а торговка.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know, and by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reid. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Что это такое? Кривой дробовик какой-то. Все ясно с тобой. Торговец. Так, что у нас с самим, по-моему?
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reid. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Ой, неразговорчивый, блин.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay...
Да.
How is your stay with us?
Oh, it's...
Can I ask?
It's the pain.
Blood boil with fever.
О, привет.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon? You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal...
Well, Dr. Reid, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'm assuming you must be a patient here.
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can...
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to...
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not...
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel.
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotta?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotta. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Тельма страдает синдромом Коттера и верит, что она вампир.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark.
Has lost its effect on me. Here again. But the suffering continues.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reid, is it? Oh, so...
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say...
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief.
Так, чё?
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Как вы себя
How do you
чувствуете?
feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel... empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is...
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reid. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End.
Has the gang been...
Ah, no.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this content.
Все, я понял вас. Что?
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. I cannot enter.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Так, ну что ты не выбираешься-то? А, вот и все за больницу. Нехорошо. Как бы обижать не в больницу. А, то есть надо за территорию вообще выйти. Побежали. Так, ничего, я должен тут найти. О, помоечка, как я люблю. Так.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
А, зараженный потом. Образец прямо частицы крови. Вот я. А тут у нас еще какая-то церквушка. Кися, 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 кися. Мне нужно обратно идти. Закрою, потом пойдем. Милтон и Пипа навсегда. Так, надо обратно идти. Не хочет он мне туда идти. Но я бы, наверное, туда лезу.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets. Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just...
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Так, что тут задать личный вопрос?
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is...
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tibbets.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits.
Так, значит, он такой охренительный, да? Так, минуточку, сейчас приду. Из госпиталя мне еще нужно 3 человек найти. С завода мне нужно еще до хрена найти. Еще осталось 2 локации.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but... How do we beat an invisible killer?
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic tone.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Так, нужно вот стопы. У нас что-то было этот алкаш, а его уже нет. Немного запутано все. Что у нас тут?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reid.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reid? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take... Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
I'm all right, considering the state of this.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Жена Харви погибла во время войны. И третья подсказка.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Rid. Dr. Swansea has recently taken his position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Что тебе известно-то? Прибегает. А, так это она.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation.
Так, отлично.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how...
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse...
Goodbye, Nurse.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
It seems you have bad memories of your military.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you...
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon.
It is not a question of initiative. It is a question of integrity.
Thank you for your...
Yes, Doctor?
Why then?
At the Pembroke, we're all...
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always ends in disaster.
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit.
We staff get our sleep when we can, Doctor. Nurse...
Exactly how bad is the supply?
It really depends. Dr. Swansea deftly works his society contacts.
Please, could you point me in the direction?
It's the large boarded-up building behind the hospital. You can't miss it. The key I gave you will open the small back door to it.
That's all for now. No.
Так. Действие, блин, на первом этаже.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plane and called medical. Same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reid.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly...
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now...
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your...
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop.
A pawnbroker?
Yes, sir. All kind of people.
What kind of goods?
With the...
Who comes here to trade with you?
I'm very cautious, sir.
Так. Так, что у нас тут?
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir.
What? When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the...
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most...
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
Так, чё? Все боятся смерти после службы врачу. 3000 опыта за него дает, ё-моё.
Do you work here alone? Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies.
Why close the hospital?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names.
Please show me what you have.
Of course.
It's locked, all right. It's locked.
Tomorrow, more bodies. I'm the manager. Oh, sweet girl.
Надо выйти на, блин, блуждаю, я не могу. Опять заблудился. Нужно там торговцу отдать. Мама ушли, забыл.
The pain. It's here again.
Hello again, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
I met him in New York once.
If only there were more.
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must.
Что с тобой, блин?
Nurse Brannigan is worried about her.
She should not have told you that.
You don't have to blame her for her.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse...
Do you need any medical assistance?
Come on.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed, still working at night?
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more...
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. As long as I'm...
What's wrong?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other...
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favor.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe only the strongest will survive in these dark times.
If there must be only one, in the end.
That man was determined to murder you.
What a surprise. The first time I met him.
How is your hospitalized?
This is a shit.
You're lucky to be alive.
This place is full of sickness and decay.
I will see you later. I'll leave you for now. Good evening.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet. With all the money.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Easy. Take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reid.
Goodbye,
Я
Milton.
загипнотизирую его.
Good evening, Milton.
Good
Или
evening.
нет, нет.
Goodbye, Milton.
Так, у меня есть. Задание выполнено. Нужно туда бежать. А это кто такой? Кто-то такой.
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid from the Pembroke Hospital. Please.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for...
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking...
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survive the trenches suffer from disability. I'll see what I can do for you. What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment.
What can you tell me about your...
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the...
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital.
This is a dangerous part of town.
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital.
I have all the information I need for now.
Thank you, Dr. Reid.
Где там канал?
Have you found Oswald?
Not yet, sir.
All right.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything...
Thank you, Doctor. We've dodged death so many times.
It's locked.
See them fancy clothes?
That's what you do with ladies.
Так, мне нужно на самом деле опять оружие заменить. Подожди, стоп. Нет, надо. Очень мило. Очень мило. Да, я знаю, что меня уничтожили. Так, минуточку. Сейчас вернусь. Нужно прокачать всего понемногу. Мне нужно туда вниз. Точнее, нет, а вперед.
Ah!
Давай сюда. Сейчас пойдем этого козла одолеем, кровососа.
Steady, boys! We've got one of them here!
Блин, 94. Нет. Блин. Огнем добили? Добили. Да. Да. До аптеки все никак не могу добраться. Блять, ну начинается. Блять, ну это просто... Помню уровень-то вообще-то. 5 уровень, ну ясен хер. Ёб твою мать, их там много. Блин, ловушка. Бля, иди нахуй. Блин. Слишком сильно для меня. Надо прокачаться, походило мне. Блин, могли бы сделать тут парирование какое-нибудь. Не, ну это нереально. Надо повышать уровень и идти по сюжетке, короче, я понял. Бежим обратно в госпиталь. Не туда я побежал, как обычно. Так. Ну как мне наверх-то забраться теперь? Да ёп. Блядь, ну это... Надо его сюда привести, короче. Не знаю, сколько уже раз 5 умер, да? Отвалить в это мне. Ня. Госпиталь. Так, за госпиталем заполучены места. Ну вот это здание. И сюда надо. Так. Сюда нельзя попасть. Сюда можно. Но мне нужно не сюда, я так полагаю, да. А, у меня же есть ключи, мы мне ждали.
It's locked, all right.
Мне ждали ключ, что ты врешь? Ну вообще чудесно. О. Так. Здание-то стремноватое. Кровь наверху. Внизу. Блин, я не хотел уходить. Не знал. Обратно. Не туда, обратно. Вот. Вот тут ничего нету. В подвале ничего нет. Здесь какая-то нечисть тут. Пойдем наверх.
similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Так, задание.
It's locked.
Блять, не та кнопка.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Подвал. Еще есть выше.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Так, есть еще выше. Ну, пойдем вниз. Оба. Сколько их там трое?
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
Я хочу убрать двойное оружие. Но я не могу его убрать. Так. Дохляк. Так, все, что найти. Заказ тоже Стрикленда. Нет, еще рановато туда идти. Ну, еще один. Долго размахиваешь.
It's locked.
Прикольно.
It's locked, all right.
Блин, там, наверное, прикольно что-то есть. Что-то смерти.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this.
Новое расследование начинается. Товарищ-то нечистый. Так. Все-таки этого чувака кто-то грохнул.
I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger.
drink blood is so tempting.
Да, пить-то кровь надо. Не щадить всех подряд. Так, у кого там что есть? Переутомление. Переутомление. Так, нужно 2 переутомления. 3 переутомления. Создам больше.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in proper dosage.
Ну, как мне расследовать убийство?
It's locked.
Oh.
The chest was originally open to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
Чувак, ты просто попал. Ну, я не могу прокачать пока что гипноз.
Tippett has made an
Я был обратно вернулся. Какая-то больница запутанная. Мне скальпель не нравится. Это оглушающее уже было получше. Тут я бывал. Вышло как странно.
It's locked. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more...
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes, Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Nurse.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Да, конечно.
Yes, Nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you finished, you... Dr. Reed, may I help you?
For how long?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke.
And before?
If you must.
Yes.
Well, Doctor...
No.
For how long have you...
I first volunteered at the Pembroke. If you must.
What can you tell me about...
This hospital was founded to help...
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elder...
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane?
Everyday folk don't...
News on...
It's...
I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to...
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you... Good evening, Mr.
Good evening, Doc.
Goodbye for now.
You like the book?
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Mr. Goswell.
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
How painful.
So painful, I'd rather not.
I have to go now.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you... Good evening.
Goodbye, Miss.
Надо на улицу выйти.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been...
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning... Patience, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our situation?
To clear Dr. Tippett's name must be the decision of Dr. Swansea. You can't take matters into your own hands.
I respect Dr. Swansea's authority and management, but he's no idea what happens here on a daily basis. I did what I had to do.
Do you require medical...
Thank you for your concern.
Goodbye, Nurse.
Так, где умер?
It's locked, all right.
Ну, походим в это. Прокачаемся немного. Так, что у нас стоит? Все, но если все растворится во тьме. Типа всегда надо это грохнуть. Вверху.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not?
Так.
In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusion, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble, lady.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few...
Then ask away. I'm at your...
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized...
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set...
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires...
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find your...
The sun. The morning following my transfer...
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you.
Must I take a life to...
You are a vampire.
You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can...
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on.
What do you expect?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first way...
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory.
He was a Skull, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skull?
A Skull is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
How do
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know...
Ну, спасибо, док.
We'll see.
Нужно поговорить с этим доком. Где-то я его видел.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr.
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory.
Are you thinking about something important?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the...
And are you not afraid that your rival...
Rivalry? I guess you could...
Thank you for... Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Have you heard talk of any blackmail?
No.
Goodbye for now.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me...
Dr. Reed...
Well, Dr. Swan...
Not in an official capacity.
What about...
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and
How is the duty...
Everybody
I'll see you later.
А, вот он тоже сидит. А ну иди сюда.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Have you heard of any underhand dealing?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis...
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks. Maybe a...
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
I will cover for you, Dr. Tibbets, by keeping what happened to Mr. Connor to myself.
I don't know what to say, actually. I can't exactly...
You didn't force me. This is my decision to make. I believe you're...
Then I can make you this promise. As soon...
Goodbye.
Так, расследование завершено. Мы выполним это задание.
I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a vamp... The lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but I rather...
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions concerning this.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your...
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first...
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like...
You make me blush. I am simply...
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you?
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it.
What are your expectations?
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in...
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal...
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would...
Please continue. Every detail is as...
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive...
I'll take care of it. Do you know what...
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could...
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hand. Is our little mystery close?
I think of nothing.
My situation.
Так, где она там сплетница стоит?
What is this?
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reid.
Preposterous. Dr. Reid, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern.
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I...
How brave. Threatening an old defender.
Harriet Jones. Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you.
Better than any patient, nurse or doctor.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on.
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy...
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have...
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. Miss Jones. Now.
Well, if you
could just tell me...
It's terrible, Doctor. What with a pain in my chest, coughing up blood, and I get...
I see.
No one comes to visit, you know.
Have you noticed any suspicious coming?
It would be a great deal easier to...
Everyone here...
Thieves and murderers, the lot. People have gone...
Come now, Miss Jones. Surely it's not that bad.
Huh. Have you no eyes? This hospital accepts all...
I'll come and visit you. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Где эта медсестра Пипа-то,
Hey, Doc.
Have you heard of any underhand dealing?
Blackmail? That's not my...
How long do you think you can escape?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get...
The police may be slow, but they will find you.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then? Nah, Doc. I figure you have something to hide so you can't ask the coppers for help.
You're lucky to be alive.
This place is...
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be
You're lucky to be alive.
Of course.
I'll leave you for now.
Я тебя сожру, сука.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
He's locked the door behind him. I need to find another way to follow him. This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Ой. Нихера себе.
What sort of creature is this?
Вау.
Not a lot to check, but I should anyway. Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
тебе, сука.
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must...
Okay. Okay, I'm Oswald Thatcher.
Mr. Thatcher, your friend Newton sent me to help you. Do you remember him?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's... Are you sure you're...
Yes.
Так, последили. Что-то реально медсестра это затеяла. Типа зарабатывать деньги. Еще нет, бесплатным осмотром.
It's locked.
Shit, that leech is fast.
Oh. Обожаю ковыряться в мусорку.
This is despicable.
И как мне туда попасть? Скажите мне. Как мне попасть в Whitechapel? Вот сюда.
It's locked, all right.
Так, тут заперто. Где мне искать ключ?
can't believe I'm doing this.
Улучшить пока не могу. Клуб вампир. Что ж мы прокачаем-то тогда? Кровавое копье. Что ж, я думаю, на этом мы закончим. Увидимся скоро. Пока-пока.